Welcome back. This is Chris and my brother in Christ, Stephen.
Welcome back.
Date today is April 4th, 2021, which I think April is actually really the true new year.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Out of the Bible. I mean, not that I'm promoting any type of calendar system to follow and you got to keep this day and this day, because you can't earn your salvation. It's a free gift. But I just think it makes sense that who would start a new year in the middle of winter? Makes no sense to me, but I digress. Squirrel. Let's talk about continuing about The Crown Part 2. The Crown Part 2. Now, we're talking about The Crown is basically the Bank of England, right? The Rothschild. Which is, a lot of times people go, oh yeah, it's the Jews and the Rothschild. Look, this is a worldwide system. It goes far beyond that.
Yeah.
Far beyond that. So the Crown rules the world from a 677-acre independent sovereign state known as the City of London, or simply the city. Yes. Now, this is where we're going to get, a lot of this stuff can be confirmed through law. Now, we talked about, we're going to get into this about these different definitions. Now, the bar, B-A-R, the bar attorneys in the United States owe their allegiance and pledge their oaths to the Crown. I'll say that again. The bar attorneys in the United States owe their allegiance and pledge their oaths to the Crown. All bar associations throughout the world are signatories and franchises to the International Bar Association located at the Inns of Court of the Crown Temple. Now, how far do you want to go down the rabbit hole, okay? Now, the Inns of Court of the Crown Table, this is in the City of London, known as the City. Now, what is the Crown Temple? Why is it called the Crown Temple? This is the Bar Association. This is why attorneys take the bar exam, because of this location. And this location has to deal with the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar. All right, and I can prove that even through Black's Law Dictionary and the English language as well. Now, the Catholic Church illegally imposed a latifundia or mafia system of governing and justice system in Canada, the United States of America, and England after the Catholic Church arranged the marriage of Queen Victoria to her first cousin, incest, and Catholic Church First Reich Prince Albert Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, which is a violation of England's monarchy laws we discussed in the last video, which I believe was called the Act of Settlement. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, so the Vatican Mafia was formed by the Egyptian sun god Trinity, which I really thought was interesting. Isis, Horus, and Seb, also known as IHS, worshiping Jesuits, right? Descendants of the Knights Templar, to illicitly or unlawful acquire wealth and property for the Pope. I thought that was interesting. So you have actually the Society of Jesus is linked to the Knights Templar. I was like, whoa, it's really interesting because that's all tied in.
Right.
And we know that the Counter-Reformation, the Council of Trent, and then Vatican Council number 1, and then also ultimately Vatican Council number 2, these are where you have the Society of Jesus has been an enemy of the living Word of God. And if they're following in the spirit of the Knights Templar, well, they learned a lot about the Judaism, which is the Talmud and the occult and all the Kabbalah, all of this Babylonian witchcraft. So we battle against principalities and powers of darkness. And of course, from the Knights Templar, we have Freemasonry today, which is nothing but a Gentile front of Judaism. So let me continue here. As we move forward, we're talking about the bar, right? So since Queen Victoria's unlawful marriage to Roman Catholic First Reich Prince Albert, the Pope, not Jews, have been illegally acquiring wealth via the Roman Catholic-owned Crown Corporation, and by taxing the Canadian, USA, all caps, and UK people under false pretense, false representation, and the color of law. Now, the color of law in the Black's Law Dictionary means the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. So the color of law, yeah, appears to be lawful,
right,
but it's legal. And really it is unlawful is what's happening today. Because remember, Jesus Christ, right? God He controls heaven and earth through His law system. So Satan always has a counterfeit. Now the Roman Catholic Church would have you and I to believe that the crown represents the reigning king or queen of Canada and the UK, when in fact the crown represents the Pope's color of law, not law, but pretense of law, established temporal authority. The crown is the corporate entity of the reigning Pope, not the Anglo-Saxon monarchy. So the exact date on which the Catholic Church Pope assumed control of Canada, the United States of America, and the UK was January 1st, 1855. That is the day Pope Pius unlawfully seized control of the Bank of England by converting the Bank of England into a Vatican Mafia Crown Corporation called the City of London Corporation. But wait, there's more. The whole legal system, the attorneys are representatives and do the bidding of the banksters.
Although it falls under the jurisdiction of Greater London and the GLA, the City of London has special status. It has its own government, its own mayor, its own independent police force. The City of London Corporation operates from the Guildhall and is composed of the Lord Mayor of London, the Court of Aldermen, and the Court of Common Council. While the Lord Mayor of London may have a fancier title and outfit, the Mayor of London wields significantly more political power.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. It's its own nation, just as the
Pretty much.
District of Columbia has its own laws, its own police force, its own postal, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, they actually described it as a almost that it's not a real. It's almost a fake.
Fictitious?
Yeah, it's fictitious.
Well, most corporations really are fictitious. They're not real. They're not human.
Yeah. Because Greater London, or London, is no more commonly known as not only the capital of the United Kingdom, it's also a county that covers a total of 607 square miles and incorporates 32 boroughs, as well as the City of London.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so we see that before January 1st, 1855, the reigning Anglo-Saxon Protestant monarchy owned and controlled the Bank of England. From January 1st, 1855 to the present day, the Catholic Church Pope has unlawfully taken over and assumed control over the Protestant UK monarchy, the UK, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States of America through the illicit monetary theft and taxation via the Pope's Crown Corporation, or Vatican Mafia, City of London Corporation, also known as the Crown. He who controls the money supply of a nation controls the nation. James A. Garfield. Since January 1st, 1855, the Roman Catholic Church Pope, the Crown, has unlawfully assumed control of the UK, right? Canada and the United States of America, governments and judiciary system, all judges, prosecution, and defense lawyers, the RCMP, I think that stands for Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Canada, and all the ABC corporations, all the MI6, MI5, they're all illegal. They serve the crown by controlling the Bank of England, CIA, you name it, NASA, DARPA, the rest. Bank of England, a Crown Corporation, City of London Corporation under false pretense, false representation, and color of law and right. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the bar. The bar is the origin of the term bar is from the barring furniture dividing a medieval European courtroom. In the U.S., Europe, and many other countries referring to the law traditions of Europe, the area in front of the barrage or barrage is restricted to participants in the trial, the judge or judges, other court officials, the jury if any, the lawyers for each party, the parties in the case, and witnesses giving testimony. The area behind the bar is open to the public. All right, so there's a lot about this, about the word bar, but the word bar stands for the British Accreditation Regency. So the attorneys that we have throughout this country, the United States of America, if they're under the bar to practice, they're under the union or under the Crown Corporation, going all the way back to the City of London or the Bank of England. So the British Accredited Regency, yes. And so we see here that the establishment of the first International Bar Association allowed barrister lawyers from all nations to be formally recognized and accredited by the only recognized accreditation society. For this acronym or abbreviation, we have BAR was established denoting informally the British Accredited Regency, whose members became a powerful and integral force within the International Bar Association, the IBA. And guess where that is all located in? You guessed it. It's located in the Crown or the City of London, the Bank of England. That's the location. Although this has been denied repeatedly as to its existence, this acronym BAR stood for the British barristers, lawyers who were members of the larger IBA. Now, the incriminating aspect of why it is the bar is the British Accredited Registry was found in Ireland. The Bar Association was administered and still controlled in Ireland by the semi-secret Society of the Honourable Society of King's Inn. King's Inn by appointment to King Henry VIII. This was set up in 1541 to oversee the theft from and enslavement of the Irish people. It continues to this day worldwide. So they set up the Honorable Society of King's Inn. You're like, well, okay, so what? All right. From almost the moment that King's Inn was founded, Irishmen who wished to practice as barristers or barristers were required to attend the English Inns of Court. Inns of Court. That is where you practice law, is at the Inns of Court. The crown itself is irrelevant. Many crowns are used and all are symbolic. The agenda is the real issue. The bar dictates what judgments are made in courts, regardless of what laws exist. You can't win if you play by their rules. That's the bottom line. They, as policy, give the banks their financial wing, right? So you have the City of London, the bank, the Crown. Now the Crown was ultimately formed by the Knights Templar. That's what it was founded by the Knights Templar, and they were the international bankers. Interesting. So you're looking at the Bank of England was ultimately originally influenced by the Knights Templar, which is a Roman Catholic military order. So let's continue. We have the Bar Association, right? They give policy. They as policy give the banks, their financial wing, permission to steal people's property, which is repossessed, if they do not have paper notes or the bank's demand. The banks control the flow of the paper notes. They create the conditions for the theft as and when they wish. Under fractional banking, the banks give nothing as value in the contract, so in reality, all bank loans, mortgages, etc. never need to be paid back because the signature from the buyer is what creates the value. So, Bar Association history and who owns the United States. The government and the judicial systems within the United States of America at both federal and local levels is owned by the Crown, which is a private foreign power, and not to be confused with the Queen of England or the royal families of Britain. This is a different crown. It's referring to specifically the establishment of the Templar Church, known for centuries by the world as the Crown. That's a big deal. So you have the Crown was set up by, so the Crown. Now, why is it called the Crown? The Crown, the Bank of England, the City of London known as the City. This is where the Inns of Court, this is where the Bar Association is, bar, bench, bank, judiciary system, judges. It's all a banking institution. All the attorneys in the United States of America are all controlled by the Crown, and the Crown is located where? City of London, which is controlled by the Vatican. Now the Crown is also equals the Crown Temple. The Crown Temple is known as Crown Templar, all three being synonymous. The Temple Church is a royal peculiar church in the City of London or Bank of England, built by the Knights Templar. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Now, if you think about this, so right now we're noticing that the United States of America is a crown corporation. Canada is a crown corporation. Australia is a crown corporation, just like General Motors. And their job is to make money. We're all working for the United States of America in America. Go ahead, my brother.
Look at this, the British Accreditation Registry. How does one know when a lawyer is lying? His lips are moving. They don't need to tell the truth, especially since they're taught to believe commoners are beneath them. They have a title of nobility. To add severe insult to injury, they are taught to refer people as the decedent person. Persons are dead entities, so they have no status or standing in law. Please comprehend, anyone who claims U.S. citizen status is known as an incompetent imbecile, a ward of the state. And when a U.S. citizen is represented by a bar, attorney, broker, said imbecile is considered to be too incompetent to speak. Worse yet, the ordinary in the black robe can completely disregard whatever the imbecile says, or even misrepresent it by twisting it around to something that suits the court.
Amen. So when we're looking about this crown, now bar also means, in most courts, the bar is represented by a physical partition. So a bar has a multiple meanings, but bar ultimately stands for a British accredited registry. Now, why is it called British? Because it's from Britain. Now, why is it called accredited? Well, accredited is an accredited law school which has been approved by the state or the association, Bar Association. Accredit means to give official authorization. So you have the British, they're accrediting their official authorization or status to recognize as having sufficient academic standards to qualify graduates for higher education or for professional practice. And then you have the British accredited Regency. Now, Regency is referring to rule, government, kingship, office, or government of a regent, a body of regents during rule of regent. Now, Regency is right out of the Black's Law Dictionary. The man or body of men entrusted with the vicarious government of a kingdom during the minority, absence, insanity, or other disability of the king. So they're ruling for the crown, which is ultimately ruling for the seat of Satan, the beast system, or the dragon. They're ultimately serving the dragon system. Now, regent is a governor or ruler, one who vicariously administers the government of a kingdom in the name of the king during the latter's minority or other disability. It can mean a master, governor, director, or superintendent of a public institution, particularly a college or university. You have Board of Regents as a governing body of a state university. So you have British accredited registry, right? During the middle 1600s, the Crown of England established a formal registry in London where barristers were ordered by the Crown to be accredited. Register is an officer authorized by law to keep a record called a register or registry. So that's what we're seeing. So you have the crown, and the crown uses the bar system. That the bar means the bench or the bank. The bench is referring to this law system, and bench comes from B-E-N-C or bank. It's a bank system. So attorneys are representing a bank system. Now, I was working at a job, and you had a corporation. They messed up, and they lifted up this tank. They're replacing these old tanks, and a bunch of us got nailed by fly ash, which has a bunch of arsenic and a lot of good stuff good for you. So I was hacking for a while, and I still do every once in a while. So, well, they got fined. The contractor I was working for got fined by oh my goodness gracious, who is OSHA, got fined by OSHA. Did I get any money? I'm the one there. You know what made money? OSHA! OSHA works for the United States of America. They made money off another corporation.
Yep.
But we didn't. The common person didn't get anything. So when we're looking about the bar exam, the bar examination is an examination administered by the Bar Association, which is the British accredited Regency, and it is an international corporation, Crown Corporation, that a lawyer must pass in order to be admitted to the bar of that jurisdiction.
Right.
A bar association is a professional association. It's a union, ladies and gentlemen, of lawyers. Actually, not lawyers. They're really attorneys. They're not really lawyers. They're attorneys. As generally organized in the countries following the Anglo-American types, the Bar Association comprises attorneys or barristers or advocates, and the list goes on and on. Now, the etymology behind this is use of the term bar to mean the whole body of lawyers or attorneys. That's what bar means. It means the whole judicial system from the crown. And the legal profession comes ultimately from the English custom. In the early 16th century, a railing divided the hall at the Inns of Court. The Inns of Court, where do you think that comes from? Comes from the Temple Church, founded by the Templars. They were the bankers, the international bankers. and military orders, a military order as well. The Inns of Court, with students occupying the body of the hall and readers or benchers on the other side. Students who officially became lawyers crossed the symbolic physical bar or barrier and were admitted to the bar. Just like you go to a bar, you have that bar right there dividing the bartender from, it's a similar aspect from the patrons. Now, bar council or bar association in a common law jurisdiction with a legal profession split between solicitors and barristers or advocates is a professional body. A professional body is a regulatory college or legal entities charged with serving the public interest by regulating the practice of a profession. Now, bear in mind, this is all under admiralty law or maritime law. If you want to know more about that, we have going back to maritime law. It was the last videos we talked about maritime law, 4-part series. So we have this aspect of barristers and solicitors, where it's really a fused profession, though. All of this is part of professional body called a law society or a bar council or a bar association. Now, the bar association serves what? The common individual person, or do they serve the crown?
They serve the crown.
They serve the crown. For what? For money. Yes, for currency. Who do you think Fauci? Fauci, he represents the crown, and he doesn't care about men, women, and children. He's about making money and promoting big pharma and injecting humanity with vaccinations that are going to have long-term implications and affect humanity and ultimately change God's temple. God created us in a certain way, and Satan wants to alter that. So come to the living word. Put your hope and trust in the true crown, Jesus Christ. God bless you.